guys, welcome back. This is the second podcast of Fruits Basket, and I'm Kyo Anime, and we have a guest today, actually. But first, co-host, do you want to introduce yourself again, real quick?
Yeah, hi, I'm Francesca. That's pretty much it. I don't have a YouTube or anything, but I'm just here for the fun. I'm glad to have our guest here too.
And then we have Mia as our guest. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
And I was actually gonna ask, who's your favorite character in Fruits Basket?
It has to be Kyo. I can't say anything else. I love him so much.
Same. All right, that was too easy of a question. Oh, I know. Actually, I had another question that I was just randomly thinking about the other day for all of us. Is what year of the zodiac are you born on? I'm the rat, actually. So
I'm the snake.
I'm the dragon. Wait, Mia, does that make us siblings?
No comment. I'm kidding. Yeah, I guess so.
Said child.
I guess you're
Anyways,
like my sister now.
yes, that's fine. So that was kind of fun. I thought about that the other day. So we do have some guests with us, and Mario Bros just asked, "Do I get mentioned?" So hello, Mario Bros, you got mentioned. But we're gonna just kind of go through the episodes, and
okay. Also, I just realized I said, "Does that make us siblings?" I meant, "Does that make you guys?" I have a small brain. I'm sorry.
That's why I said no comment, and then I realized what you meant.
I got myself confused.
Oh, that's fine. So we are going to go with episode 3. Episode 3 is called "Shall We Go Get You Changed?" And beginning, we get to see the ugly.
She's
Yuki
pretty.
Mom. I know she's pretty. The mean Yuki's mom, and it was a dream though. But she pretty much just says like, "So you're a tool. What about it?" And he wakes up, and he's like trying to like wake himself up, and then all of a sudden Aya comes in. He's like, "Oh, my brother!" Like always. And right when you see Aya, I was just like, "Yes, it's gonna be a great episode because this is just great character."
Yeah, this is like the only one that got animated in 2001, but didn't this time. But I actually never watched it because I didn't finish 2001. But I heard that it was a lot different.
Yeah, it was.
And
I thought it was funny because he finally. I noticed that Aya mentioned that Yuki is a late riser, which I don't think they ever mentioned that in the reboot yet.
They've implied it before, like with Kyo being up early in like episode 3 or something, and Yuki like being like, I forget, but they've definitely like hinted at it, but not like directly said it.
Yeah, that's it. I just remember in the old one they had like a whole scene like where it talked about how like he was not an early riser and stuff with the original. So I was like, finally got that in there a little bit. Anyway.
Yuki's like a goblin. He's like the messy room and like can't wake up early, and it's like very relatable.
Yes. And then I thought it was funny because he's like, "I'm going to spend every moment with you," and then he's like, "Bye," and Yuki's like, "What the?" And he's like, "Oh, did you feel lonely?" Okay. And then he puts his hand on Yuki's shirt, and Yuki pushes it away and rips it.
Yes, thank God for that, because his arms were chef's kiss.
Oh my God, Mia, stop.
That's the next part.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking respectfully at the arms, not gonna lie.
It took me like a second, and then I was like, wait. Yeah, Yuki with no sleeves, which barely ever happens. I was interested. And but Aya starts fixing his shirt, and Aya and Shigure have their love moment of, "Oh, I can peel this peach for you," and he's like, "Oh, but your love's enough," and that's funny. And eventually Aya makes broader into his shirt says brotherly love, and Shigure just loses it, and I lost it too because Shigure lost it and cracks up.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, can I say something though?
Good.
I might be jumping ahead a tiny bit with this.
You're
I'm
fine.
sorry. We were robbed this episode because when when Yuki accepts the invitation to the shop or whatever, Shigure was already in the room, so I didn't run to the bathroom on Shigure taking a bath.
The original, yes.
Rest in peace.
I remember that. Everybody was like, we didn't get to see Shigure in a bathtub.
No, we were robbed.
Yes, I've heard about that. Well, the thing is, again, they did a whole, like, combined 2 chapters, like, of the manga into one. And again, I was okay with it, but, like, the chapters are, like, really far apart, actually, kind of, from each other. But, like, the only thing we missed, I feel like, it was Shigure.
Yeah.
Sarah just said me looking at Yuki's arms, and it's really funny. But the only thing we missed was Shigure.
Oh my gosh, same.
Shigure in the tub, and I guess technically, like, Yuki, like, when later on they're in his garden when they're talking. But other than that, we didn't really miss much. And so then Aya's like, oh, you should come to my shop someday. And Yuki surprisingly is like, I'll go. And they're like, what?
Yeah, his little blushy face.
He's like, I want to understand you better. And it's like, Yuki, improvement, as he has been doing. Beautiful. And when he says that, of course, Aya has to flip out, and he tries to call Hattori. And then I love this part where he's just like, Toru, you have to come with, because the princess never leaves the prince or something. And he just bursts into Kyo's room, and Kyo's just working out. And he's just like, you can't come. And Kyo's like, what are you even talking about? Get out of here. And that's like, oh, get it.
I thought that was his, like, 3 seconds in the episode.
I just like the random burst into his room. It's just like, well, we got to see Kyo. And also, I was random note about Aya's music, like, in the background whenever he's doing something crazy.
I was hurt.
Like, I love that music. I never really noticed it, but, like, it's like, because it's but it's, like, playful at the same time, which is just like,
I like it too, definitely.
And then they're like, oh, we always wanted to go to a shop. And then Yuki's like, wait, what kind of shop is this?
Yeah, because Toru's like, made in nurse outfits. And he's like, I had no idea, man.
Yeah. And so finally they go to the shop. And there's, like, this little, kind of bear, actually. And there's this tiny little sign. And it's just like, most trusted, most caring. Ayame, and then Ayame, and then, like, Toru's like, oh, that looks so cute, and Yuki's like, that makes me even more scared. I have to say, Yuki's reaction for this whole thing was hilarious.
Yeah, there are a lot of, like, meme templates that can be taken out of this episode.
Exactly. And then you guys want to talk about what happens when they go into the shop a little bit?
Yeah, Mine.
Yes.
I love Mine so much. She's like those characters that's like, you might not see her that often, but I always love seeing her, you know what I mean?
So we got to see her, and she's cute. And then and then we get, Aya coming out in a wedding dress. And scary.
Yeah. She's very pretty, to be fair.
Yes.
Looks better than I would look in a wedding dress.
I feel like all the Somas would look good. No,
I mean, you're not wrong.
And, of course, he explains about his shop. And he first starts out, like, normal. He's like, oh, we make handicrafts and tailor-made clothes. And Toru's just like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And Yuki's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then he's like, and we make men's romance come true.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, weird fetish stuff.
Yeah, all these fetish clothes. Yeah. And
I mean, they were cute. I mean,
and so they were still pretty, like.
Yeah.
Like, he is actually really good at making clothes. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's just what he's making. Yuki's like, wait.
Oh, and then we get the Mine attack on Toru.
Yeah, Toru is just all of us, I feel like. I always want to see Toru dressed in something cute, too. So, like, I don't know, Mine is, like, my spirit animal in that scene.
Yeah, and the fact she also does it so Ayame can talk to Yuki, like, I love that. She's so sweet.
Oh, that was so sweet. Yeah, she's great.
Mine does talk about. I thought I'd talk about this because people like who watched it were confused. She says how like she doesn't want Ayame to feel like Neil about
Oh,
or Yuki to feel whatever. Yeah, which means nothing. Which some people
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, some people. Well, I mean, when you think, yeah, I think I knew it because I've heard people say, "Oh, it's nil" or "nil zilch."
Mm-hmm. And and then they talk about how fighting's good because it's like acknowledging each other's presence, and then she thinks of
Yeah.
and Yuki.
I was about to say, yeah, it makes totally think of how Kyo and Yuki acknowledge each other through their fighting, and it's not just nothingness or nil.
Then what happens after that? They're still gonna. She's still like, we're gonna change you, Toru. She's like, oh, we were really gonna do that, okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of like Toru. I don't know. I don't think she cared really because Toru's such a sweetheart. But I'd just be like,
Yeah.
Like when people put clothes on.
I think she was probably nervous, but it didn't really bother her too much or anything. Definitely.
Yeah.
Or just goes with the flow, man. Kind of just be vibing, though.
That's a good thing. I mean, how she wouldn't be able to survive the Somas if she couldn't go with the flow.
So that we start like the talk, right, with Ayame and Yuki.
That gets to the deep stuff, and the first thing he brings up the parent conference. He wants to go instead of the parents.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're bringing up the student teacher conference a lot to like build it up. You know what I mean?
True.
Mm-hmm. Yuki says he'll get his parents to come, but he doesn't really expect anything from them, which I was kind of curious because I don't think we ever seen Yuki's father.
Yeah. Well, that's like most of the Somas, or most of the characters in general, like the mother is usually much more of a focal point for them than the father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just about it. I was like,
sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm saying like, I don't expect anything from my parents kind of brings it back to Ayame's worst fear, which is Yuki expecting nothing from him or feeling nothing towards him.
And yeah, and then that's kind of what Aya goes into. Like, he's pretty much just like his parents because he sold them in a way just for him to have a free life when he was like a teenager. I guess because he didn't help him when he reached out to him.
Yeah, and this is the part where I was saying that they skipped some stuff because the original IMA's flashback had more stuff in it. Like there's a scene with young him, Shigure and Hattori hanging out, and Shigure says, "Did you really forget your little brother's name?" Something.
Oh, true.
So we know as like a reader, like Anime has not seen Yuki at all to the point where he forgot his name.
Yeah, I remember.
And they left that out, which made me upset, but like I understand, I guess. Maybe they thought it was like, oh well that's too far or something. I don't know.
Well,
maybe they thought it was unrealistic, I don't know.
Yeah. But I for some reason, like the first time I saw this, like when I saw this reboot episode, like I never really thought about it. Like I always thought about Aya and how he's always trying to give love to Yuki because he like didn't do anything when they were younger. But I never thought of it like Yuki's way, like looking at it for Yuki until now about how like you know he never helped him, and I'm like he probably doesn't really want to do much with Aya either, just because of that, not just annoying, but like
I thought about that a lot, definitely, because imagine having like this brother who basically ignored you your whole life and then one day is like, no, I want a relationship with you. Now they're trying to make up for it and they're being overbearing and annoying all the time. Like I probably wouldn't want to hang out with him for a long time because I'm like, why didn't you help me? Or
I just never really
now like you and now because you feel bad, you want to feel better by making it up with me, you know?
I just never really thought of it that way. I just kind of always thought, you know, because they were opposites and annoying, and he's annoying to him. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It just never crossed me that way through Yuki's eyes. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, we've only seen like the Ayame side that's like trying to like reach out to Yuki, so it's kind of hard to see him in that light. Like we saw in the flashback, and we're like, oh, why isn't Yuki like being more open to a relationship with Ayame? And then they hit us with that flashback, which I feel like brings a lot more depth.
Yeah, and the fact that Yuki's even going to his shop, like I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
After like all the trauma he's been through.
Yeah.
Like Yuki is doing like so much.
I love that too. It does show like Munich comforting Aya.
Yeah, they were so pretty.
Yes, beautiful.
Yes. In the end, they were like, he's like, oh, I'll go to the interview with you, and they can interview me. Then he goes into his story about why he started making dresses, which was really a good. I think that helped Yuki the most.
Yeah.
Of the conversation
and
connect to him.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry. The whole fact of like wanting to create something with your own hands and it relating to Yuki's garden, and I won't say when, obviously, but Yuki's whole feeling of wanting to create something becomes a huge thing later on as well. And like,
yes,
it's like good that they brought it up now to establish it, so that when he talks about it later, it's like, oh, we already kind of knew this.
And in the end, also Aya's like just happy that Yuki reacts with like emotions back to his emotions. Like, he's just, and then like Aya gets really deep and has some good lines where he's like,
yeah,
doesn't matter if we disagree. And he's like, we're born with like opposites, like what you lack, I have what like,
yeah.
And it makes me of siblings in general, because I don't know about you guys, but I have one brother, and we're like complete opposites. Like, he's really quiet, I talk a lot, and he's like book smart. I mean, I won't say I'm not book smart. He's like school smart. I'm more of like, I have to do it kind of thing,
Yeah, I do have two sisters, but always been more like very much younger than me, so I always looked after them more. So I guess, we don't argue like Ayame and Yuki because of the age difference. One of them I'm 7 years older, and one of them I'm 10 years older than. Like, we don't argue, but I definitely I feel like Ayame a lot of times in wanting to, like be there for them, like the way that he's trying to be for Yuki.
But and then he also says like, you're not alone as you think, which helps like anyone to say that, especially like all of us being locked in our houses right now.
No, oh my gosh.
I was like, thank you, Aya, thank you.
No.
And then finally Toru comes out in her cute dress, which was nice and cute and not scary.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the dress compared? A lot of people were saying they like the yellow one better. I personally like the white one better, but what did you guys think?
I thought both were cute. I didn't really have one I preferred over the other too much.
Yeah, same. I kind of liked both.
I mean, she was making a weird face. She was making like that 2001 Yuki face at one point.
Stop. Please don't drag Toru into your agenda.
You saw that I posted it on Twitter, Mia. Do you remember that?
I pretend I don't see it.
I
pretend I do not see it, but in reality, I do.
Oh my gosh, yeah, her face was kind of like when she had it on.
No, I was like, why did they make her look like that? I didn't understand.
Maybe she didn't like it as much as everyone. Okay, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
And then we have Yuki finally says, tells Toru he's starting to understand Aya more. And Yuki makes a move.
Yeah. Really do be putting his arm around her, though.
Yeah. And then Aya comes up and is like, oh, this is romance, and this ruins the moment.
Yeah, Ayame ships it so hard.
And so Aya's like, this is your first romance day. And he's just like, what the heck is that? And gets mad, and they fight, and kind of back to normal, but yet closer. So it's good.
Yeah. Mine's like, oh, we'll watch over them. And I love Mine because she's so emotionally intelligent. Like she has emotional intelligence, I think.
Aya and Mina are such a great couple. Like,
Yeah.
like the way they even talk, like they almost talk.
No, I love them so much. Yeah, and I want to see more Mine. Even though I know she's not a huge character or anything, I love her.
Yeah, it's kind of like me with other characters too. I'm like, it's okay if you add another scene of that character, even though they're not in the manga that much. Like,
Yeah, it's just nice to see her.
Yeah. Characters like Ritsu, who you see like twice in the whole series.
yeah, like.
Oh, true.
No more Ritsu and Michan together.
Yes, exactly. The very, very end, we got Aya. Let's see. Actually, we have where Aya like it shows Aya coming, and he like opens the door for younger Yuki, and that's kind of like I don't know. It wasn't like actually happened, but it was like a reference. Could have done that. Now he is doing it kind of way. When he was in the dark room.
We end on the Hattori phone call.
Yes. Then we had the Hattori, which was hilarious, and
yeah.
And being all like, "Did you just imagine Toru in a dress?"
Don't compare, and then he's like, "Don't compare me to Shigure. Don't put me on Shigure's level."
Yes, it's hilarious. So that episode really, to me, what do you guys think about it overall?
Let you go first, Mia.
For me, like in the 2001 version, because I saw that before I read the manga, I didn't really like Yuki. Like I can't really explain why, but I did not like him on screen. It bothered me. And so then I think it's because it didn't really go into depth with his character a lot, so like as much as it is now, if that makes sense. And so then now I really appreciate those like scenes that we got added that were in the manga but weren't in the 2001 version because I'm starting to like his character a lot more and like I love him now, that's my boy and I feel so bad for him like knowing his past now after reading the manga too. So I really appreciated this episode and I thought it was really well done overall.
I think I really liked it too. Obviously, what I'm most excited for this season is, the stuff coming up with like more plot related stuff. But I think that episodes like this are so important because if we didn't have that development between, Yuki and Ayame's relationship, I feel like the series wouldn't be what it is. I remember reading the manga, seeing them slowly grow closer was one of the highlights for me, definitely.
You guys pretty much said it all. But same, I really liked this episode. I was thinking about I should do like a ranking thing where like I say my favorite episode and then like
I have mine ranked.
Yeah. But I actually already have mine ranked. Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for me, I guess just because of hype, I guess my favorite so far would be episode 4. And then episode 2. I love the Kyo focus. And then episode 8, the IMA shop, and then episode 1. I really liked episode 1 because of Machi and stuff. But Mochiko, I really like her and stuff, but she's not like my favorite character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how mine ranking is. Like the other ones were like just, like a little better with like better like more of my favorite characters. They ranked higher, but I still like the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like flip-flopping between 2 and 4 because I'm just such a Kyo.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm such a Kyo fan, but episode 4 was so good.
Exactly. So anyway, so let's go on to episode 4. You want to start that, Francesca?
Okay, so we start off in the hospital. This is like an extra scene that they added, kind of make it hurt even more for the audience because this wasn't in the manga. Where Haru is like going to Rin's room, and we finally get more Rin, which I was very excited for. And she's, being mean, picking up with him, being like, "I don't want you anymore." Like the meme with Andy throwing Woody on the floor, where she's like, "I don't want to play with you anymore."
Oh my god.
and then we cut to credits and yeah. What did you guys think of that intro scene?
I was like, "Oh, for Haru."
No.
I just had one thought, and it was oof.
One thing people noticed though was it was a Soma hospital, So, like, the Soma's
Mhm.
the hospital, and
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I was like, when I saw that, because I mean, it makes sense because they're like a rich family.
Yeah, and I think that was in the manga too. I'm pretty sure it was.
It probably was. It's just something I never like
Yeah.
noticed that I was.
Yeah. I didn't process it.
I just wonder if Hattori's like the head doctor or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, but then he's not.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Soma Hospital is I've been thinking about it since episode 7, because when they're at the hospital, it's like a big. I mean, not episode 7, episode 14. I'm sorry, this is like such a tangent thing, but when Momiji's little, he's at the hospital after his mom like tried to kill herself, and his dad is like, the doctors say she might get better if she forgets you. That would imply that the doctors know about the secret.
Yeah.
Which implies that they're in the Somas, so it makes sense.
Wow.
I was thinking about that. Like, how did the doctors know that, you know? Now we know that the Somas own a hospital.
Everything's connecting.
Really do be like, what's a Dr. Seuss? Like Nancy Drew in this show.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
What's after that? Oh, then we go to, the Uo and Hana and Momiji and all of them in their classroom. Momiji comes in like, oh no, something bad happened. And they're just like, yeah, something bad's happening here. and they're like just talking about their class trip, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go to the usual Kotoko, Nara. And then they're like, well, why is it bad? And Kyo's all like, because I gotta be with Yuki in the group, or
yeah.
all mad
just
about
being aggro.
Yes. And then I loved when Uo was like, oh, it's so fun with you around, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shipped them for a second.
Yeah, you always say that, and I always want to fight you afterwards because no, they're too similar. You and Satsuki, both of you, need to calm it.
It was sweet.
She was messing with him. What do you mean it was sweet?
Her face was soft.
Her face.
She looked very nice in that scene.
But and then they say Kyo's pretty much his toy, or he says, "Am I a toy?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I got my new profile picture from Ua's face in that scene. It's really funny.
And Momiji does the cute thing where he's like, "What, Kyo? You don't want to hang out with Toru and do stuff with Toru?" And he's like, "Of course I." And they're like,
"Yeah,
what are you gonna say?"
Everybody's just messing with him. And something I wanted to talk about, but it's a spoiler. So I was wondering if at the end of the podcast, if we could go into spoilers for a minute just to talk about it.
No problem.
Okay.
And then let's see what else happened.
Like that's when Yuki comes in.
See, this is why you're a co-host.
Yeah, Yuki comes in, and then Momiji remembers why he's there.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, Haru is on a rampage, and like, what? Why didn't you tell us?
And so they go to Haru's and Momiji's classroom, and Yuki's all like, students and teachers, step away from the classroom.
I know, it's like the squad pulling up, really. Like, they're a team of superheroes. Haru and, like, all of them, man.
And then, he says, and then, they're like, Haru's there, and there's, like, the desks are flying everywhere, and their windows are broken, and
yeah.
Kyo's like, hey, and then he starts to pick a fight with him, which is the wrong thing to do. Or he starts to, because they just both have hot heads at that moment. And Yuki, don't fall for it.
I know. And Haru even goes as far as to say that Kyo causes problems for all of them just by existing.
I know.
He is going hard on this mode. He's going sicko mode on them.
That must have cut deep. I felt really bad for him. I was like, why
no,
did you
but Kyo, I mean, Kyo was just like, hey, what are you saying? Like, I feel like Kyo didn't even take it to heart because he knows that, I feel like even, like Kyo knows that Haru's obviously going through something, so he's not taking it personally.
Oh, that's true.
It's, like, really noble, I think. I mean, I love Kyo, so I'm just trying to be the things about him,
I felt that.
And yeah, and then I thought it was so funny because like Yuki's like trying to like calm down like Haru, like, and then Haru's like calls him Princess Yuki. And I start cracking up. And he's like, starts saying, "Oh, if I transform, then you're going down with me."
Yeah, and he threatens to reveal the Soma's secret to everybody and grabs Toru.
Yeah,
like he grabs her so violently. I'm like, no, stop.
I'm like, this isn't you, Haru.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, like Kyo's super smash.
I know. I love
Yes.
that. I love that for him.
I replayed it.
Said I watched several times.
Yo turned into One Punch Man. Just okay,
Hmm.
not that bad. And then he just says like, "Don't drag Toru into your drama."
Yeah, and everybody freaked out at that scene.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's just like I was just like, "Hi." No,
No, but really.
Anyway, and then but then Kyo and Haru actually start to grab each other because they get so mad, and then Sensei comes and
Yeah,
pours a bucket on them.
Sensei. I love her so much.
Queen.
She's the best Sensei.
Girl, I love her so much. I can't wait to get more of her.
Mhm.
So this isn't really. I just want to say this now because it's not really a proper time to say it, but damn, Haru was looking good this episode, man.
He was.
Oh, I mean, that's fine. If Sarah's still listening, Sarah, who's listening to us, she loves Haru, so like she would agree.
Sarah has taste. Shout out to
Yes,
Sarah.
go off, queen. I mean, Haru was always my favorite. Favorite when I read the manga, Haru was my favorite. I think. I also love Totori. I think back then I was just picking who I thought were the hottest. I do love Haru. Sarah's like, yeah, but I love Haru, and he was looking fine this episode. All right, let's continue with the actual plot.
Okay, Haru had to distract us. I don't even know where we were at. After the bucket was hit on them, and Kyo's like, "Why'd you do that to me?" And it's like, "You're getting hot-headed too." And then he's just like, Haru's just like, "Ah, I feel so refreshed."
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it was just that frame, but there was like a frame where he looked really weird. And I think it was just because his hair was down, and I was not used to that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's like, child. Anyway.
But then they're like, go to the, I don't know, principal or whoever. They had to go get in trouble. So he goes and gets probably yelled at and crap. But in the hallway, Momiji's talking to Toru and Yuki and Kyo, and he's like, they're like, "What happened?" He's like, "I don't know. I wasn't with him the whole time, but he has been seemed like really down recently. I wonder if something happened." And that kind of makes Toru wonder and worry.
Yeah, poor Toru just gotta worry about everybody.
I know.
We'll pick a spa day.
And then so then Haru finally comes back and he's apologizes to Toru, and then to Kyo he's just like, "Nice fight, bro."
It's like, oi.
And then he goes off. And he's gonna wait for his parents to pick him up, and Yuki's like, I'll go after him," which I'm like, again, Yuki stepping out. Anyway.
No, there's so much Yuki this season already.
And then we get Kyo telling Toru to stay away from Dark Haru.
Oh, that was really sweet.
And then Momiji's like, he's trying to like say it, and he can't know how. And then Momiji just blurts out like, "He doesn't want you to be next to him, or doesn't want to hurt you." Or, I don't know what he said.
Yeah, and then they both start blushing.
Yeah,
and there's more spoilers relating to that. There's like a couple spoilery things I want to talk about at the end.
Yes. But I liked how he like stopped. Kyo stopped and looked at his bracelet though. That was kind of cool.
That hurt.
Yeah,
no,
it was cool.
It hurted.
And then Yuki finally gets up to Haru and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I was gonna clean the classroom." And then he's like, "Oh, But I guess the cleaning fairies must exist or something.
Mr. B.
Yuki tries to start talking to Haru, and then he's all like, "Why don't you call Toru by her name?" Yuki gets really kind of like flustered and mad about that, and he's like, "This is not about me; it's about you right now." And he kind of talks about how Haru always thinks of others before himself, which kind of is true.
Characters that always get compared, especially to Toru, like Haru and Hattori, are always caring about others before themselves. Same way that like Toru does. So those are the ones I always relate back to her, you know?
Yeah, that's what I always think too.
In some ways, another person who I mean, some other people that I can't say, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Yuki talks about how he only thinks about himself. But then Haru comes back with like, you only think about yourself, then it must be, he came back to help Haru make sure he's okay. So he said thanks. So in a way, he doesn't always think about himself, even though he thinks that.
Yeah, Yuki does care a lot about others, and it relates a lot back to Yuki really doesn't see himself in a good light. Like in episode 3, he says he's only nice to people to get their approval, which is very much true, especially like we know more later on, but like he does have a good heart, you know?
Yeah.
And then we get like a random, I don't think this was in the manga or in the original, but we had dojo shot or scene where Kyo's working out with the class, which was kind of cool to see. And he looks down at his bracelet again, and he remembers when he hurt Toru, and that's when he's like, "Why? Or how can I say like, tell her not to stay by Dark Haru when I could hurt her way worse, or I did." I'm hoping that's not covering up in the manga the scar scene.
Yeah, and that was a really good scene too.
Yeah, I was hoping that wasn't supposed to be like the fill-in for that. I'm like, please no.
Yeah, I hope so.
But,
I mean, I'm still holding out hope.
I know you are, Mia. I don't know though.
And we got to see Cosma for a little bit. That was nice.
Yes, my king.
I know.
And he's like, "You're not focused," and Kyo's just like, "Yeah, I know," or whatever.
Yeah, Kyo just walks away.
Yeah, well, he's like, "I'm gonna go wash my face," is what he says. It's like, all right. And then we have a little tiny flip of scene where like Haru's about to go knock on Rin's door, but he doesn't, and then it shows that she's left the hospital.
Yeah, she's running away like mad crazy, man.
Yeah.
And like her window was open, that implies she like jumped out that bitch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's wild.
She's a wild horse.
Yeah, I heard you were a wild one. Oh my god, imagine A and B with Rin with that song.
Bro, don't give people ideas. Actually, I would like to see it, so carry on.
That's funny. Oh, no, I love to like think of A and B ideas. It's fun.
It's like her, it's like a bunch of horses in the background and stuff.
Bruh.
Oh, goodness. And then let's see what happens next. They go back to planning. It goes back to school, and they're planning for their class trip. The group is.
Oh, can I say something funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, at this point, this has happened twice with Hana and Uo, where they really just care about food. Like, when they went to visit Toru's house in episode 5, and I was like, oh, let's not go right away. They might have snacks ready. And Uo was like, good idea. And then this episode, they're talking about all these places that they're gonna go to eat while they're on their class trip. And Yuki's like, can we talk about, actually going to a temple or something? And they're like, oh yeah, I mean, we can walk off the food in between and go to temples. Yeah, whatever. That way we can eat more food. Like, I feel like nobody caught that. Like, that they just really only care about food, and I love that so much.
I literally wrote in my notes, it was just food. And then Yuki say, we gonna go to a temple? So...
Yeah, we'll walk off the calories by going to the temple.
But relatable, like food.
No. I love them so much. They're some of my favorite characters.
Yes. And then, but then we get Momiji again being like, "Oh no, it's bad. It's something bad happened." And they're like, "Oh no, is it Haru again?" And he was like, "Yeah, he got suspected." And they're like, "You mean suspended?"
No, he's such a baby.
He's so adorable.
And then I'm like, he doesn't know all that well Japanese. I don't. I'm like,
Oh,
it was so.
I forget. Was it? You know how they state about the characters in the side panel in the manga? Did he like go to a boarding school or something in Germany or something?
I have no idea. I just know he's half.
No clue.
Or does he just be pretending to not know Japanese? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder that too, because people talk about how he like does a German accent, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Or he could just get words confused a lot and not have to do with being German.
I mean, I do that. English.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured, that he was just confused.
Yeah.
Once they find out it's okay, Haru's just suspended. And he'll come back. Toru and Yuki start walking home, and Toru's worried, and so Yuki's like, "Well, I'll go see Haru." And she's like, "You gonna go to the state?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You want me to come with?" And he's like, "No, don't."
And it's such a big thing for Yuki, and even Shigure notices. They go to Toru gets home, and Shigure is like, "Huh? He's going to the Soma estate? Well, how about that?" And he like smirks, you know.
You putting
Like,
on big britches. Okay.
and then we get Yuki walking there, and he's having like PTSD flashbacks and having an asthma attack because we know he has like bronchial issues. And I'm just like, my poor baby. Oh my god, get your inhaler or something.
Yeah, that was different because that never happened in like any version. So I was like, ooh, but it was good.
I think that a lot of small things like that they add enhance a lot. So I think that's really good.
Yeah, everything they've added, I'm not mad about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he does see Rin, and that's what makes him kind of go run towards the gate. And again, he takes a breath or so. You have to get through the gate. And then we meet the evil maid lady.
Literally, oh my god,
I cannot stand her.
I saw a reactor be like, "Oh, what a hot old lady" or something.
What? Excuse me? Sir?
Yeah, but then he was like, "Just kidding, just kidding." I was like, I mean, she's still better looking than Kyo's dad.
Yes, true.
True.
I mean, because she just looks like an old lady. Like, she looks like she could have been pretty when she was younger. Kyo's dad just ugly.
And she's all like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And she starts saying that he needs to go to Akito like right away, and he's just like, "Bye, I gotta go. I'm like running."
Yeah, he said, "I got places to be, ma'am."
And let's see what else. Oh, then we get to see Haru's room, which was cool.
I love his room so much. It's like exactly what I want my room to be like.
Yeah, I love all the details they added.
Like all the different posters. So yeah, that like probably different albums and like the video game stuff. And something I wanted to mention that because this is one of the how again Takaya Sensei would have like side panels where she'd talk more about the characters and stuff about them, but it wouldn't be mentioned in the manga. Thing that is never I don't think mentioned in the anime or manga is that we saw a desk where he like with tools and stuff, but Haru makes all his own jewelry and he also made Rin's jewelry.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool that they added that to like show that he's making jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, and then but that was like one of my favorite little tiny random scenes in the manga is when Yuki comes in, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's a doppelganger of Yuki," and he's like,
yeah,
and then he goes, "Okay, like peace, come on, take a picture."
Yeah, do a peace sign, Yuki. Before it was with like a camera, and now it's with his phone, so it looks more natural.
Yeah, the phone instead of a camera. So then he just asks Haru how he's doing, and He's been playing games for video games for 5 hours.
Yeah, and I want to talk about what the video game was. It was oh, I knew right away when I saw it that it was Final Fantasy, and C Tactics. He does the Fruits Basket podcast last night, and he was like, "Okay, but do you know which Final Fantasy game it is?" And I was like, "No," and I was like, "Is it 3?" Because I thought it looked like 3. And he goes, "No, it's either 8 or 9 because of like the fire that's around the dragon and like the graphics look like 8 or 9."
My.
And so I remembered that in the manga, this scene looked exactly the same. Like when it showed the video game characters, like they kept it the same. They didn't update it or anything. So I looked at when Final Fantasy 8 and 9 came out, and they came out in 1999 and 2000. So it would have been the newest game basically when this chapter came out.
That makes total sense.
So like we did a little detective work and found out that Haru was playing either Final Fantasy 8 or Final Fantasy 9.
That's great.
Yeah.
I liked how like he had them named as, you know, Kyo.
Yes,
Yuki.
that was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that like Yuki was a fairy princess girl, the fact that Kyo was like this construction guy and he also had the least HP, and Haru was like the main hero with the giant sword and he had the most HP. I just found that so funny.
Yes. But pretty much he just asks like, "How are you and Rin?" And he kind of figures that she must have escaped the hospital again. Like he just
because Yuki's like, "I just saw Rin out there."
Oh yeah. So, and he's just like, "Oh, I won't give up on her. He loves her that much." And I'm like, bro.
No, crying in the club.
One of my favorite things to say is crying in the club.
Me too. You can ask Mia. Mia, how many times a day do I say I'm crying in the club right now?
Manny, you be crying in the club a lot.
I know.
You could ask Sarah, even though she's not on here. She knows I say that all the time. So then he asks again about, why don't you call Toru by her first name? And he's just like, is it still embarrassing? And he's like, yeah. Then he's like pouting, so he's like, ooh, picture, and he's like, no.
And is that when we cut back to Shigure at the house? And Toru is waiting for Yuki, obviously, and Shigure's like, oh, I'm hungry, and Toru's like, oh, I'll make you food, and he like notices that she's waiting for him and stuff, and he's like, actually, I gotta email Michan, and that was like really sweet of him.
Yeah, that was so pure of Shigure.
And it really shows that he does care about Toru. It's just more the fact that he cares about himself the most. You know what I mean? It's not that he doesn't have a care for these other people. It's that he'll do what he has to get his way.
Yeah.
I agree. Like he does have his Shigure is like a father figure in his own, like, you know, he does take care
some way, yeah,
in some ways. Then it shows Kyo's just late training, and which I kind of thought about a little deeper, but anyway, we can talk about that later, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Yuki runs out of the estate, and he's kind of happy. But then the background, we have Rin like watching him.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how funny it is, how hyped Rin is compared to like other character introductions, where it'll just be like, Toru meets a person. They're like, I'm a Soma and I'm an animal, and then they get to know Toru. Meanwhile, with Rin, it's like happening, like you see her going out the window, like, and then like randomly appearing. Like they're teasing her so much compared to like meeting Hiro. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think it's because though, like she does like sneak around, you know, like
her
character at the beginning, like she's just in the background trying to figure out things, you know, and like so. But yeah, that was that episode, which was really fun. Maybe my favorite.
And I think we all know like our overall thoughts, but I'll just say I really, really loved it because it really feels like the balls, you know, we're kicking it off and like really getting into the plot.
Yeah.
Like, well, we've already gotten some of it this episode. So it's like, I don't know, I'm really excited.
What'd you think, Mia?
Yeah, like the same thing about plot. Like it makes me excited for them to like go to the beach and like they introduce Duran, which brings up like more plot points, that I don't want to. I'm not gonna get into right now, obviously,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I'm just really excited for the episodes to come, and I thought this was a good way to get like start getting the hype up.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so thanks guys for listening this time to our Fruits Basket podcast. Hopefully you guys can join in next time. Bye.
I was wondering, do you guys want to get into the spoilers real quick?
Sure, let me just like do a whole like, should I like, well, did you just want to
just
do
tell
like,
the viewers, like, if you don't want to be spoiled,
okay,
click off right now,
Whoever's listening right now, don't want to be spoiled, leave.
Yeah, leave right now. Let's do a countdown. Okay, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay. So, thing I want to talk about with spoilers, I was hoping to talk about with you guys. I have 3 little things written down, but Yuki and Kyo. And the reason I'm bringing them up specifically is like there's a couple times this episode where Yuki sees Kyo bonding more with Toru, and you can like see him like kind of just observing this. I think that, so there's actually a point in the manga where there's a few instances where Yuki's like, I'm falling behind with Toru, and I think that this was the first episode where they explored that idea that Kyo is getting a lot closer, like not a lot, but he's getting closer to Toru than Yuki is to her.
Yeah.
Like how Kyo immediately stepped in to protect Toru and didn't. Or even like in Ayame's shop episode, Yuki wasn't blushing or anything when he saw Toru at all.
That's what I thought. I was like,
he was just like looking at her like shocked, like, oh, they put her in this dress. And then later he kind of switched on the on switch of being charming. Was like, oh, you look so beautiful. His initial like if that had been Kyo would have been a blushing mess when he saw her.
Kyo would have been like, ah.
Yeah. So that's like a big thing and like the whole like calling her by her first name, like Kyo already does that, and I think that this is really the part of the series where I think ever since True Form arc is when he realized that he didn't have romantic feelings for her. This is I think a lot where he's coming to terms with that.
I think the True Form arc is when he like starts to notice it, but he doesn't notice that he's noticing it. Like I don't know how to explain that, but
yeah, he says I realized like then that the way that I felt about her was different than the way that like Kyo felt about her.
He just didn't know what kind of way. So he was
and I think that he's he's looking at them, and I think he's just coming to terms and actually being okay with the fact that those two are probably into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to bring up was Momiji and how Momiji kept teasing Kyo about, I want to hang out with Toru.
Oof. Oh no.
I saw people post about this on Twitter, but like I thought about it too while watching. Is that I feel like at this point Momiji's already kind of in love with Toru.
Yeah. No, I always wondered.
So sad.
I always wondered if Momiji fell in love with like. I don't know if he knew he was in love yet, but if he started to fall in love with Toru way back when he like thought about the traveler and like how like so kind.
That's what I was thinking.
I always thought maybe that's when he started, but anyway.
I'm not sure when, but like definitely at this point, I think he's like aware.
Yeah, because he's already very much in love with her by the time he has his growth spurt. And then my third thing isn't really a spoiler much. It's just the fact that we know that Machi's in Haru and Momiji's class, so I'm just wondering how she reacted to him fucking shit up.
Oh, true.
Like, I bet. Do you think she was like, "Get him"? I think she was low-key cheering him on in her head.
She started joining in.
Imagine if I can imagine like Machi and Haru having like that sort of camaraderie friendship over their mutual craziness. Like not craziness, but like doing that stuff.
I know what you mean. Like
best part.
That's was something so funny. All these reactors are like, Machi was looking for something in that classroom. I wonder what she was looking for. Every single person I saw thinks that Machi like was looking for something that's gonna be like some huge thing to the plot when really it's that she's just having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, they're gonna be disappointed.
Of spoilers, I mean, I'm just excited to see like the hottest couple in Fruits Basket, Haru and Rin.
Yes.
Yes.
People were always like, "Oh wow, Rin's really hot," and they saw her, and I'm just like, "Yep, that's why she's with Haru, because they're both the hotties. They're gonna."
No, they're like the sexy ones, like quote unquote sexy ones out of the series. Like always wearing revealing clothes and stuff.
Exactly. I'm like, makes sense why they're together.
Yeah. They go to Hot Topic together.
Stop.
Do you guys have anything like spoilery you wanted to talk about while we have like the spoiler section going on?
Oh, it wasn't really that much of a spoiler, but when I was talking about Kyo, when he was like late training, like, and he was training really hard, someone, I think it was a reactor, but I thought of it too, brought up that like he's probably training even harder because he has less time to beat Yuki, and I'm like, oh, deep.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh.
Yeah, and then we find out later, you know, at the beach.
Yeah.
I have a question though, because I want to Rising Sun Reviews, he does the Fruits Basket podcast or see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, why don't they just lock him up now? And or like, why hasn't he been locked up this whole time? Why is he getting to graduate high school? And like, I feel like there was a reason, but I don't remember. And I feel bad because like it feels like a plot hole.
There probably was. I'm trying to think. I feel like, I mean, obviously Cosma took him in. I'd have to look at that. Honestly,
Yeah, now you got me thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to say that Akito was very young, when like got taken in by Cosma. Akito was probably only like 11 years old, maybe 10 or 11.
yeah.
So Akito probably wasn't as warped making those decisions yet at all as the family head, you know. And then I'd like to maybe at this point he's not or she, you know, they're not locking up Kyo because of I don't know, they want to break him psychologically first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was like the first one loved by God, like, so I mean, like a little mercy, I guess. I have no idea. I can't.
Well,
My head is
Akito
empty.
hates Kyo.
Well, yeah, but he was also Akito was baby, so like small, you know, young, like you said. So maybe that's why like she didn't lock him up. I don't know. You're really making me think about this though.
we'll have to research.
I'll actually probably post something on Twitter about it. I'll like post it as a spoiler and be like, "Hey, isn't Kyo locked up right now? Why is Akito waiting till graduation?"
Exactly what I was thinking. Is just ask people on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, guys, for listening this time to our Fruits Basket podcast. Hopefully, you guys can join in next time. Bye.